How do you wage struggle for liberation from below?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like we're a base building organization, so we do lots of different work, but like base building really is like the bread and butter of what we do. And we understand that having organized and politicized Arabs and Arab youth specifically, that are assuming responsibility for the national liberation struggle is how we're going to build like the critical, like as Darío said, the critical mass needed to be able to wage struggle. I think that this idea of like from below really comes from this idea that we understand the masses to be the makers of history. And so that's where like a lot of our base building theory comes from, is understanding that, you know, we need to be engaging the masses, we need to be in step with them, we can't be ahead of them, we also can't be tailing them. And so thinking about how we can base build in a way that builds critical consciousness and that builds power from the grassroots. I think maybe like a concrete example of this like from below strategy was the Off Maersk campaign. And basically a couple of months into the genocide, we always as an organization knew this, but it became very clear to everyone, people of conscience around the world, that the political class will not act in the interests of the people. So, you know, we had in London, like up to 1 million people in one of the most historic marches in the history of this country, taking to the streets for Palestine. We had, you know, people shutting down bridges and weapons factories and students walking out of their campuses and there was not a political will.
They didn't even vote for ceasefire.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember when
right.
there was the ceasefire vote and sort of at that stage, the ceiling, not the ceiling for us, but sort of like how we were articulating our demands was what is now so clearly just like a below a bare minimum, which was just ceasefire. And that parliamentary vote didn't even go through, despite what you're saying about millions of people being out on the street.